Welcome to the lesson on the coordinate grid. Introduction to the coordinate grid and plotting points. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to identify a coordinate grid, name and describe the x-axis and y-axis, locate the origin, plot simple points using ordered pairs, and read the coordinates of a point. This lesson is very important because it is the foundation for drawing graphs and straight lines later. But first, let's begin with a review of the number line. Whole numbers are all the basic counting numbers such as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. On the number line, we can present these as shown. So we have an infinite number of numbers, and here we've started from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. We can actually go beyond this. We can consider the negative numbers. -1, -2, -3, -4, and so on. A negative number is a number whose value is always less than 0. It has a minus sign before it, as shown here. So all these numbers to the left of 0 are negative. We will now introduce the coordinate grid. The grid helps us describe position. It tells us where something is located. For example, we use grids in maps, on chessboards, and even when naming streets in a city. In mathematics, we use a grid to show the position of points. A coordinate grid is made of a horizontal line called the x-axis and a vertical line called the y-axis. We add a grid formed by many equally spaced lines. These lines create small squares, as shown. The horizontal line is the x-axis, and the vertical line is the y-axis. The point where the axes cross is called the origin and is denoted by 0, 0, as shown. Each axis is a number line. On the x-axis, numbers are positive to the right of 0, 0 and negative to the left of 0, 0. On the y-axis, numbers are positive above 0, 0 and negative below 0, 0. This allows us to plot points in all directions on the grid. The x-axis and the y-axis divide the grid into 4 parts called quadrants. In quadrant 1, both the x value and the y value are positive. In the other quadrants, one or both numbers are negative. For now, we will focus on understanding how the signs affect direction. We will now take a look at ordered pairs and plotting points. A point is written using an ordered pair, written as xy. The first number tells us how far to move along the x-axis. The second number tells us how far to move along the y-axis. Always remember, across first, then up or down. Now let us plot a point with positive x and y values. For 3, 2, start at the origin. Then move 3 units to the right along the x-axis, and then move 2 units up. And finally mark the point. So we start at the origin, move 3 units right, then move 2 units up, and mark the point, as shown. Notice that this point lies to the right of the y-axis. Now let's plot a point with a negative x value. For -1, 3, start at the origin, move 1 unit to the left along the x-axis, then move 3 units up, and finally mark the point. So we start at the origin, move 1 unit left, move 3 units up, and finally mark the point, as shown. Next, we plot a point with a negative y value. So for 2, -3, we start at the origin, move 2 units to the right, then move 3 units down, and notice that the negative y values always move downwards. So let's start at the origin as shown, move 2 units right, move 3 units down, and mark the point as shown. Now let us plot a point with a negative x and y value. So for -2, -1, we start at the origin, move 2 units left, then move 1 unit down, and mark the point. So start at the origin, move 2 units left, move 1 unit down, and mark the point, as shown. This point lies to the left of the y-axis. Now pause the video and have a go at these exercises. Press play when you're ready to view the solutions. Be careful not to ignore the negative sign. A negative sign changes the direction. And also, remember not to swap the x value and the y value, and always start from the origin. So, when you're ready to view the solutions, press play. Solutions are coming up shortly. Now we know what a coordinate grid system is, we can discuss why we use coordinates. Let's take a look at an example to illustrate the benefits of the coordinate grid system. Suppose your friend asks you to meet near the river. Where do you meet near the river? Here or here? With a coordinate grid system, we can be a bit more specific. So, let's take a bird's eye look at our river from above. If we put a grid on top of the river, or the bird's eye view of the river, it'll look something like this. But there still might be some confusion. Where do we meet? Here or here or here? Suppose this dot indicates where we want to meet. How do we define this point? Let's add our axes, the x-axis and the y-axis, and number as shown. Now that we have our coordinate grid system, we can specify exactly where this point is. 1, 6. So this point is 1, 6, as shown. Where else do we use coordinates? In maps. Suppose a tourist wants to find a campsite on a map. The campsite is located at 4-3. So here's our map. Here are all the 4 values highlighted. And here are all the 3 values highlighted. The point 4-3 occurs at the intersection of both, or where these 2 lines meet. And so the coordinates will help the tourist find the exact location. 4-3. Let's now take a look at some more examples of how to plot points. So let's plot the point 0, 0 as shown. And here's the point -8, -1. And now the point 4-6. So 4 to the right and 6 up. 4-6. Now let's plot the point -10, 0. So we go 10 to the left of the origin, -10, and 0 up. We now plot the point 7, 6. 7 to the right of 0 and 6 up to give us 7, 6. We now plot the point -2, -4. So we go 2 values to the left of 0 and 4 values down. -2, -4. And now for the point minus 7, 10. 7 values to the left of 0 and 10 values up to give us minus 7, 10. We now plot the point minus 9, 9. We travel 9 values or 9 units to the left of 0 and 9 units up to give us minus 9, 9. We're now going to take a look at reading coordinate points. In order to read a point, we plot backwards. So consider this point A on a grid. Begin by finding the x-coordinate. How many units would I have moved across from the origin to reach the point? In this example, I have to move 2 units. So the x-coordinate equals 2. What about the y-coordinate? Let's now find the y-coordinate. How many units would I have to move up from the origin to reach this point? I have to move 3 units up in order to reach A. Therefore, the y-coordinate equals 3. And therefore, A is located at the point 2, 3. Now pause the video and have a go at these exercises. Press play when you're ready to view the solutions. Be careful not to ignore the negative sign. A negative sign changes the direction. And also, remember not to swap the x value and the y value, and always start from the origin. So, when you're ready to view the solutions, press play. Solutions are coming up shortly. Let's now take a look at some more examples of reading points. Find the coordinates of the given point. This point is located at 5, 5. What about this point? This point is located at minus 10, 3. And what about this point? This is located at 3, 1, as shown. And this point is located at 1, 9. And this point is located at minus 10, minus 7. And this point is located at 8, 2. And finally, this point is located at 3, minus 7, as shown here. In the next slide, we will take a look at how this content links to future sessions. Once you can plot points correctly, including negative ones, you can join points to form a straight line. This will help you draw graphs and study equations of lines in future sessions. And finally, before we finish, do check your understanding. Can you remember how we move for a negative x value and for a negative y value? And also, how would you plot negative 1, 3? If you can answer these questions, you're ready to continue. This brings us to the end of this session. Do attempt the exercises in your textbook related to this topic. Thank you very much for listening. Let's now take a look at some more examples of how to read points.